Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, and this episode we're breaking down the best Season 4 fan theories for Westworld. It's been 1 week since the show ended, and there's still a lot of things up in the air. There were some big deaths, crazy cliffhangers, and overall there's a lot to discuss in terms of what could be happening. Here we're going to be going through how we know Stubbs is alive, what could be going on with William, the secret park that could be getting explored, what the time jump means, and a lot more. There will obviously be heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to check out the full season yet, then I highly recommend that you turn off now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for videos like this every day, and please drop a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Before we get into the video, I just want to let you know that this breakdown has been sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. It's a game that I'm sure you've seen advertised multiple times before, and it's for a good reason. I've left a download link in the description below if you want to go check it out, and it really is the perfect thing to play right now. Enter the epic world of Teleria, where Dark Elves meet the Sacred Order, and the Bannerlords are in an endless war with the undead hordes. Collect, equip, train and upgrade your team of heroes in order to start the journey of a lifetime. Raid Shadow Legends will take you to the world of dark fantasy and realism, and it's free to play and is available for both mobile and PC. What I love about the game is it's got a whole host of RPG elements to keep you constantly playing, and the game has 6 storylines, so there's plenty of content for you to blast your way through. Challenge yourself to the edge in the ongoing tournaments, compete against the entire raid community while fighting the Spider's Den, Ice Golem's Peak, the Almighty Fire Knight, or the Notorious Dragon. Patch 1.5 is coming in May, and with it you'll be able to compete in the brand new Arena tournament, earn points according to your tier, and win some amazing rewards in the local and global tournament. As a thank you to fans of the channel, if you go to the video description and click on the special links, all new players will get 200,000 silver and 1 free champion tree fella. These are available for the next 30 days, so make sure you're quick, and I'll see you over there. Good luck. Okay, so we know that at some point Westworld will be having a major time jump. This was teased at the end of the 2nd season, in which we saw William return to the Forge. Showrunners Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan confirmed that this was taking place in the far distant future once the world had ended, and thus it was theorized that William's arc had been taking place in a complete simulation of the park, in which the events played out exactly the same as how they had with the host uprising. It seemed that William was a host and that they were testing for fidelity to see if the Delos immortality program had been achieved. There's been a lot of speculation about this over the last 2 years, however the end of the 3rd season seemed to provide some answers. In that we saw William had been duplicated by Dolores, who was in the process of creating a host army. William seemingly died too, and in the fan community many have gone back and forth over whether the character is actually dead or not. Personally, I don't think that he is, and I believe that the way that the showrunners would have handled his death if this was the case would be a lot more dramatic. William has been one of the big bads in the show since its inception, and to see him go out like that I think would be disappointing. We didn't see the character take his last breath, and therefore I don't think that this is the last we'll see of him. As we saw from Caleb, pretty much all wounds can be healed if the person is not dead, and though I don't think that he will be storming out of the gates in Season 4, Nolan and Joy know that they can always bring him back should they need to. It would be great to see him going head to head with the hosts once more, and taking them down would really bring everything full circle. Having more William vs William fights would be an interesting aspect of the show in terms of duality. We would have 2 Williams both having to decide whether what they're doing is the right thing, and as we know, neither copies would mind smacking the other out with a steel chair. Though this may not happen, what will happen is that us fans will no doubt continue to question what the hell was going on in the credits scene of Season 2. It is possible that the William we saw was the copy, and this would explain how the character was able to live far into the future. If it was an exact duplication, it would too mean that the host would carry across his existential crisis, and thus it would be unable to fully grasp reality. Perhaps it will be revealed in the end that this host was the one we actually saw through Season 1 and 2, merely going through a simulation that mirrored the events of the host uprising, and his journey to the Forge was purely to test fidelity. This would explain how in Season 3 we just randomly caught up with William back at his house, even though we didn't really see how he got there. It would also tie into the time jumps that we've seen throughout the series, making us once more question everything that we've seen. This ties further into the overall arc of the show, and where I think things will be going for Season 4. The replication of humanity was seen in Hale's lab in the host-making part of Delos Dubai, and it's clear that this is the direction that they're going for the future. In Season 2 we learned that Delos had the data on 4 million people and Hale will have a huge army to pull from. So, going ahead, it appears as if Hale will be the antagonist for Season 4. It is possible that this was actually all part of the plan carried out by Solomon, and on Reddit, user fulltime2017 dropped a great theory about the AI god. They stated that Solomon had likely planned this all out in order to turn humanity into hosts. We did see through Rehoboam that should the plan that Solomon set out come true, that the human race could be extinct within as little as 50 years. It did give a time range, but yeah, things aren't looking good for us. Why this may be the case is because that humans may have been fully replaced by hosts at this point, especially with Hale working double time in the basement of Delos HQ. Solomon was trying to get a grip on humanity in order to control them so that it could save the species from itself. It is possible that its plan this entire time was to put us on a path that would see us all turned into hosts so that it could place us on our own loops. Hosts can be controlled and guided far easier than humans can, and the ability to program them would pretty much remove the need to take away the outliers. Perhaps humans becoming hosts is inevitable, and we've already seen from Williams' work on James Delos that the key to immortality always lay within transferring our consciousness to them. So Hale's uprising may be a foregone conclusion now that she has an army, and she will likely be able to take over humanity far easier in the upcoming war. But who exactly will fight in this? Well, we do know that there already exists an army of outliers in Deep Freeze at a re-education center in Mexico. Caleb, the new saviour of humanity, knows of these, and he will likely have to thaw them out to fight in the upcoming battle. As they've been kept out of the loop, as it were, their data will not be present at Delos, so Hale will not be able to replicate or use their brain scans to predict how they will act. We saw that host William was able to copy the real one perfectly, and if Hale doesn't have this as a weapon against them, then they could get the upper hand. Now Aaron Paul has already signed on for a 4th season, so we know he will be returning, but I actually think he will be teaming up with an unlikely ally. That is, Serac. Serac was left alive at the end of Season 3, and I think his final few words actually hint at the direction he will be going in the future. The character was left screaming at Rehoboam to answer him, and eventually this turned into pleas for his brother. He could end up returning to the Outliers with Caleb in order to free them to stop the incoming war. Jean-Mi would be far more trusting of his own kin than he would some stranger, so I do think that he will be needed further down the line. After thinking about it and knowing what we do of Serac, I think that Jean-Mi's schizophrenia actually showed us a lot of things about the character. In episode 8 of Season 3, we learned that Serac was completely obeying Rehoboam, and it is possible that Jean-Mi's schizophrenia was because he refused to obey all of the time. He had a voice in his head constantly whispering things, telling him what to do, but when he went against this caused complications that led to his psychosis and questioning of right and wrong. I still think that there's a lot to explore with both the Serac brothers, and Season 4 will likely bring them back in a new light. In addition to this, the fate of Dolores still hangs over the show. Though we saw her completely wiped at the end of Season 3, and Evan Rachel Wood confirmed that that would be the last we saw of this version of Dolores, that doesn't mean she's gone for good. Evan already confirmed to Jimmy Kimmel that the character would be returning for the 4th season, though she did not know in what capacity. There still exist several Dolores pearls out there though, and they could easily be placed into the shell of the one that's still hooked up to Rehoboam. We also still have Lawrence, Musashi, and of course Hale, who all contain Dolores' personalities. The main reason for Hale's fall was because she had difficulty not being in her own body, so it could be possible that the key to defeating her lies with putting her back into a Dolores shell. Either way, Dolores has died countless times before, so I doubt that this is the last we've seen of the character. Another character that we've likely not seen the last of is Stubbs. At the end of Season 3, he was left in a bathtub bleeding out, and though this likely spelled doom for the character, there are hints that he survived. Before entering the Sublime, Bernard placed the briefcase and gun on the bed beside him and journeyed into the host heaven. However, when he awoke, there was no gun on the bed beside him, hinting at Stubbs getting out of there and taking it for protection. Now, we don't know why he didn't come back, but the fact that a maid didn't check in on the motel room and Stubbs never returned shows that something big has happened in the world. This would explain why no one has stopped by to rescue him, and it's likely that the apocalypse has already happened. Bernard journeyed to the Sublime to find out what to do once the world ends, and he may have been successful. merely sitting in hibernation and waiting for it to all blow over. I think that for the 4th season, we will likely operate with 3 different timelines and realities, and the first will show the war being fought by Caleb, the second will show Bernard's journey to the Sublime, and the third will be after the war and it will focus on possibly William and Bernard. Nolan recently told the Hollywood Reporter that Bernard and William are now in 2 separate timelines, so that could lead to a 4th one for the 4th season, but we will have to see if everything comes full circle. It makes more sense to me with both characters being in the future, but only time will tell. And finally is Maeve, who is still on the hunt for her daughter. As we know, she is in the Sublime, and after Maeve's mission in Season 3, which was to track down the key to the Forge, it does seem likely that she will still be searching for Bernard. However, as we know from the flash forward, she never finds him. To me, this teases that there will be a return to the park, and that she will enter the Sublime the old-fashioned way. The Delos website was recently updated to show a complete shutdown of all their facilities, and there are some notable little teasers. There's actually an advertisement for a brand new park that is completely obscured. Now shoutouts Reddit for unblurring this image and pointing out that it was a castle in France. This is of course Medieval World, which we saw teased throughout the 2nd episode of Season 3, and though we haven't actually seen the park itself, we do know it exists. Reddit also managed to unscramble some of the text on the website, and it does look like that it will indeed contain dragons. So who knows, we may get to see Maeve go back to Westworld, and even get to see how this park operates as she navigates the landscape of Delos. I think that the only way for her to fully reconnect with her daughter is through this manner, and I can't wait to see how it's handled going ahead. And that's pretty much all of the fan theories that I have for the 4th season, but I'll make sure to keep you up to date with any news on the show going ahead. 2022 seems like a long time away, but I have no doubt we will have teasers and trailers before then that let us know what we're in for, so hopefully you stick around for our coverage of other things. Obviously, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these theories, and if you have any of your own. Comment below and let me know, and if you enjoyed this video then please drop a thumbs up, and make sure you check out our breakdown of how we would have liked to have seen the season end, which is going to be linked after this. If you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month, then please click the join button below. If you want to chat to us after the show, either follow us at DefinitionYT or click the Discord link in the description below. Every month we give away free movies to people who are subscribed to the channel, and this month you can win the Marvel Phase 3 Part 1 box set, and all you have to do is comment on a video and make sure you sub with notifications on. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 15th of May, and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. This is a channel for people who are never missing television, so if that's the kind of thing you like, you need to subscribe to Definition. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.